see to work. Get more done. Unlock more time. More money. And more freedom.
Join us as we explore the challenges and power of making work visible. Welcome to the Visible Workplace Podcast with Dr. Tom Rolley.
Now, let's get into today's episode.
Well, hello and welcome to this special edition of the Visible Workplace with myself, Dr. Tom Rolley, coming to you from this stunning location in the Indian Ocean. Yes, it is the Maldives. Here on a surf trip with my buddies, and excited to bring you this episode. We're going to be talking about a common problem that used to really not make a lot of sense to me until I worked out this one thing. It's going to be called What is Marketing? Seems pretty easy, but stick around because we're going to look at a couple of insights around this topic about what is marketing that's going to make a lot of difference to you getting results in your business. Let's jump in. So when I first got interested into marketing online, I met a gentleman called Frank Kern. And Frank, often thought of as the godfather of online marketing, been marketing since 1999. And the model was relatively simple. It's the same model that a brick and mortar business uses. In fact, it's the same model that all of us use in business, which is, hey, we've got to advertise. We've got to let someone know what is going on in our business. And then we've got to sell them something. Say, hey, have you got this problem? Here's a solution and here's the results that you can expect. So selling. So we've got advertising and selling. And then the final piece, which is delivering on that, which is if you sell something, you're actually creating a liability to deliver what you've promised. So those three things, advertising, sales, and fulfillment or delivery of the product or service, was what was talked about. And yet there was this very strange fourth, let's call it child or idea, marketing. Marketing got thrown around as all of those things. Well, maybe not delivery and fulfillment. It was never mentioned there, but certainly for advertising, people commonly, I heard, used marketing when they were talking about letting other people know about what was going on. I'm like, hang on, isn't that advertising? And then when they were selling, they would talk about marketing and sales and this marketing of the idea to get someone to buy. And I was like, well, isn't that selling? What's going on here? We seem to have these four things, which were marketing, advertising, sales, and delivery. And yet, when I looked at what happened for somebody to actually buy, there was only three. Only three: advertising, sales, and delivery. And this marketing thing, it was confusing. Literally heard people being asked, what is marketing? And they would describe advertising. And this was exactly the position that I was in. When I heard the word marketing, I originally thought it meant organic search engines, like doing the content and the Google rankings, also known as organic traffic. And this was marketing, but this is not marketing. That's still advertising. It's a different way to advertise, putting up quality content and letting the search engines find it, or putting that content on social media and letting people find it that way. But it's all advertising, as opposed to putting an advertisement in front of someone and paying for it, paid advertising. A little different. You don't have to pay for it with money. You have to pay for it with time and generating an audience that sees it. But marketing, it's not. Organic content marketing, even called that commonly. Like, take a course and it's called organic content marketing or content marketing. And this is a dangerous place to be. You see, what can happen when you don't understand what marketing is that you end up with a problem. And I went through this problem just recently, and that's why we're talking about it right now. I know about this stuff, and yet it happened. So what was the situation? Well, I was like, you know what? I just want a copywriter to go through and build the content for my next funnel. Pretty simple. I'm like, hey, go build this copy. And so I gave them a draft copy of what I'd written, or rather ChatGPT had. I'm like, hey, here's the general outline. Knock yourself out. Now, this didn't go that well. It went reasonably well, but there were some problems. You see, when the copy was written, it was inconsistent about what we were actually selling. And it was inconsistent about who we were selling to because those things were not specified. I didn't take the time to say, hey, this is who this piece of this funnel is for. This copywriting is for this person. And then this is what the offer is. And this is the results that they've got. And this is the problem that they're facing. And here, finally, are the 4 pages that I want you to build. I want you to build an opt-in page. I want you to build a one-time offer page. I want you to build a checkout page. And I'm going to build a thank you page. Pretty simple. But because the marketing didn't get done, the copy was inaccurate. So what is marketing? Well, what do you mean the marketing didn't get done? I didn't tell them these specific things. I didn't take the time to say, hey, this is who we are dealing with. This is our target audience. That is marketing. What is the market? It's this particular person. And that particular person may well have many problems, but we're going to look at this one particular problem. That is marketing. It's the person with their problem. And then we're looking at what do they want? How do they get rid of this problem and get different results? That's part of marketing. Then how we do that with a product or a service, that's part of marketing. So we've got the person, the problem, the results they want. We've got the offer that we're making to them that's consisting of the provision of a service or products to them. This is all marketing. And yet if you just stop there, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Why is that? Well, because you haven't taken that marketing and made it into an advertisement. And you haven't taken that marketing and turned it into some kind of selling experience, whether that's an online set of pages like a funnel, or whether that's an opportunity to talk to you and you find out and talk to that person. Can you help them? Yes or no? And then finally, hey, you promised all these things, but that marketing said, hey, these are the products or services that we're delivering. Well, we better deliver them as well. And so what I came to understand is that marketing is underneath a consistent experience. If I want my ads to match my sales and my sales to match my fulfillment or my delivery, then I better know what I am marketing. And this is kind of like a blueprint to a building. That if I want to build a townhouse, I need blueprints that describe a townhouse. If I want to build a big mansion, then I need blueprints that describe a big mansion. If I want to build an office block, I need a blueprint that describes that office block. And this is marketing. By creating these blueprints of what will be created for that person to see a particular advertisement, whether it's a paid ad or whether it's a piece of content, and then that they take action and say, yes, I have that problem. I'm going to move across into finding out whether this offer is the right one for me and saying, yes, I want to buy that. And when they buy that, then we have a responsibility to deliver. But without the marketing, then you'll end up with the situation that I did, which is like, hey, the pages don't match here. On the first page, we're saying 3 templates, but on the second page, you haven't got those, you've got some other product. What's going on? Tidy it up. We've got to come through and fix it all up so that the person that opts in and says, yes, I want those 3 templates, doesn't arrive and get a different product. And they're like, I thought I was getting 3 templates. What's going on? This is all a marketing problem. And so what you need to do is to have the way to create your audience, also known perhaps as a avatar or your dream customer, so that you're clear on who that is. Who is that person? What do they look like? Where are they demographically? What are they thinking about? Then looking at, hey, what problems are they facing? This is the second part of marketing. What problems are they facing and getting clear on those? And then looking at which problems for that person are you going to solve? And if they had those problems solved, what results would they have? Or even better, beyond results, is who do they become? What is the identity of that being, that human that has these problems right now, that buys stuff from you and they become somebody else, a presumably more desirable identity for themselves? All still marketing. So we've got the person, we've got the problems, we've got the results, we've got the identity. And then we've got to work out, well, what are we going to sell to them? How are we going to deliver it? What products, what services, what software, what experiences, what events? How do these get packaged up into a particular offer? And now we've got an offer that can be said, hey, this offer is again part of marketing. It's not deployed yet. It's not distributed out into the world as an advertisement to say, hey, if you as this dream customer have this problem and you would like to become this new identity, then click here. And it takes you through to a page where again, it speaks to that same person, the same problem with the same desires and the opportunity to find out more and go through and say, hey, yeah, I do want to become that identity. That is highly desirable. That would change my life in ways that I would appreciate. And if they go through that and then they say, yeah, you know what? I want that. What's the deal? And then the offer specifies, well, how much is it? Is it money? How does that money come across? Is it paid in full? Is it a weekly payment plan? Is it a monthly payment plan? Is it an ongoing service? Is it a deposit and then a completion program? We had this when we built our house. We were like, okay, we're signing up with our builder. And he was like, yep, we're going to have 5 payments that come through from the bank. 5%, then 20%, then 15%, then 25%, and then the remainder as we go through and complete the various stages of the project. The bank was like, hey, you guys have built the foundations. Great, we'll give you 5%. Great. Now you've built the structure. Okay, great, we'll give you another 25%. Okay, now the roof's on, we'll give you 5%. Now the walls are in, we'll give you 20%. Now the furnishings are all done, or the fittings are all in, we'll give you the final amount. Because they could see that they didn't want to give all of their money away, even though they are loaning it to me. They wanted to make sure that the things that were getting built got built before they released more funds. So that is an example of a offer that has a payment plan, all part of marketing. And so what I want you to imagine is seeing marketing as the base, as the foundation, and upon that sits advertising, sits sales, and sits delivery. And when you have done your homework first, when you've built your marketing, then you will have the ability to deploy consistently and save a whole bunch of time, frustration, and troubleshooting, because the offer and the avatar and the problem and the results and identity were already defined. And now you're running a real test to find out, is that the right offer for your dream customer? If you mess this up and the offer and the marketing's not done well, then you have a real problem, which is like, was it the marketing or was it the offer? And you don't know, because the ad didn't match the sales experience and the sales experience didn't match the product. And it's no wonder that it didn't work. It's not because that offer was poor. It may or may not have been poor, but you don't know, because the marketing wasn't done well. All right, that's all I got for you today. I'm going to return for some more surfing. We're heading out shortly to go check out Sultans and Jailbreaks on a boat. This is day 4 of our Maldives trip. It is spectacular. The sun's finally come out. Waves are cleaned up nicely. We're doing pretty well. I'm hoping to get a little coaching from my buddy Ivan, and he can help me out on my positioning. But it is a magical place. If you ever get the opportunity to come here, I would highly recommend it. Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Visible Workplace, and look forward to seeing you next time. Catch you then.
Thanks for tuning into the Visible Workplace podcast. Subscribe for more productivity tips and share with friends. We love your feedback, so please rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. For more tips and tools, visit www.magicboards.io. Thanks again, and see you next episode. Disclaimer: the information and ideas discussed in this episode are general in nature and do not take into account your specific circumstances. You should seek specialist advice for any medical, financial, emotional, mental, or other difficulties that you are facing with appropriate specialists and professionals so that they can apply your specific circumstances and give you the required advice.